Wait, it's so bad. Let's do that again. Hello. So it's been about a day since Allister and I choreographed. The first time we choreographed. So the timeline was I recorded the introduction on the 10th, and then we met on the 12th to decide our song, and then we met on the 15th to choreograph for the first time around. The showcase is on the 20th. So today is the 16th, and me and Allister are meeting on the 17th again to choreograph a little bit more, and then we're going to meet again on the 19th to finish up the choreography for the showcase on Thursday. We're running a pretty tight timeline, so it's going to make it hard to get a quality choreograph. Like, we're trying to make it as good as possible, but we probably won't get to do the entire minute. We're probably just going to focus on the drop, basically like as you heard in the song, it has like some build up with some singing, and after that it's just an EDM drop, and we're probably just going to focus on that because that's going to be the main part that we want to showcase, and we'll have the most like important moves and layers. While the beginning part we have ideas for, so we can explain it during the showcase if we don't get to actually choreograph that part. So I just want to like reflect on the actual progress that me and Allister made on Saturday, and kind of discuss what kind of factors that went into the actual choreography. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record this with Allister because we forgot to take this video on Saturday. But some of the things that we initially getting started was really hard. So like we picked the song and we had these ideas in our head, but just getting started with it was hard. So I have actually choreographed a multi-prop piece in the past, but it wasn't chosen. I only spent like 4 or 5 hours on it, so it wasn't a piece I would say I actually choreographed, rather more like inspirational, just testing out the waters. So this is the first time I actually had to seriously like try to make a multi-prop piece, and even though I had these ideas, it was really hard for me to actually come up with moves. So when I had these ideas when I was listening to the song, it was mostly like, oh, it'd be cool to have a certain type of move, like like a flowy one or a circle one, a larger one or a faster one, and like these different types of moves, but the actual moves themselves I didn't think about when I listened to the song. So when it came to actually choreographing with Allister, it was really hard for us to get the ball rolling. So it took us like about maybe half an hour to actually get into it. We started getting into it. We started thinking about things not just like the actual moves, but also formations, because it's a multi-prop piece. Formations and the interaction between the two props are really important. We also decided how many of each prop we wanted to have. So we decided that we were going to have 6 fans and 3 flags, so basically 2 fans per flags. So when it came to the actual part that we choreographed about 15 seconds. It starts off with 3x3, so it has fan, flag, fan for each of those 3 lines. And then what's going to happen is that the two fans will slide out to make a triangle. So you have the 2 fans in the front and the flag in the back. Then we do a turn, the same type of turn, to switch the formation. So while this is happening, there's also the 3x3 becomes a triangle as well. So you have a triangle of fans and flags in the top left, top right, and middle back. So you have that triangle of triangles. So the reasons behind that is we wanted to keep this pairing of 2 fans per one flag, or 2 people doing fans, total like 4 fans per flag, so we can do interactions between them. So one of the moves that we decided to come up with was this like one where the flag comes up from the bottom and opens up the fans, and that leads into the spin. And we thought that would be a good move because it requires the interaction, and it requires the fan to actually move the fan. So it's not just like these props are doing their moves side by side, but the props are actually interacting to create this actual movement. Another movement that was inspired by the interaction of the fans and flags is when the flag is in the front of the triangle and the 2 fans are in the back. What we're doing is we're having the flag basically do a move and lead into this kind of a wave coming up. So it's as if the flag is like bringing up the water into this wave. So that's what the 4 fans, it's hard to see because it's only me with fans, but it's supposed to be 4 fans coming up while following the flag's motion, circular motion. So it looks like it's raising up the waters and raising up the waves. So when it comes to actually choreographing, there's a lot of these kind of quote unquote BS moves, but these are things that like I have these ideas and they might seem kind of silly, but it actually works. Like these moves are interesting, it has this dynamic, it's interacting with both props to create this kind of cohesive piece. So it required a lot of like trial and error to see the timings, whether or not we can get it right. It's definitely a lot harder to choreograph an EDM piece because you don't have words, so you can do it by yourself, so you have to go out in counts. And if your partner you're co-choreographing with isn't used to counts or isn't like a music-based person, he might struggle. So sorry, Allister, I'm basically calling out, but like Allister didn't grow up doing music. I grew up doing music since like third kindergarten and up to like senior year of high school. So I very much get counts. So for me, counts are super important, and what I always base my choreos on. I always figure out how many counts do I need to choreograph, and then figure out what moves can I do within those counts. Or for Allister, it's more like, oh, let me feel out the music. What kind of things can I do with the dynamic of the music? So having him kind of balancing me out really makes it for a nice choreographing session. So yeah, so basically that's the update. Some of the factors we considered. We already started thinking about things like formation and using the musicality of the song. So there's one part towards the end of the choreograph that we finished so far, where it goes da 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 da, like da 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 da, and then vroom. And that vroom noise we want to actually be interactive, where we kind of imitate this like vroom. It sounds kind of like a circle, like a spiral movement. So we actually are having that movement in the dance. Look at the song itself and determine are we going to actually use these notes? Are we going to use these sound effects? And exactly what musicality points in the song can we incorporate into the piece? And how can we have the two props interact? So that was just some of the thought process that went behind the moves. Obviously, this is only our first choreographing session, so I don't know exactly where it's going to lead in, but I think we have finally got the ball rolling and we're on a good start. So yeah, so this is just one of the 3 sessions, and I'll come back to you next time.